Hi, welcome. I'm Barbara, and this is my sister Cynthia. We're owners of River City Yarns, and we're here today talking with Holli Yeoh. Welcome, Holli.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Holli's one of our favorite designers in the store.
And Holli comes and teaches workshops for us, and we thought it would be really fun today if we could just take a few minutes and chat with Holli a little bit about our history working together and what she's been up to as far as her designs.
Yeah. Holli, we've had kind of a long weekend here full of workshops. We've done some really special things.
Eight workshops in 5 days.
Yes.
Kind of epic.
Yeah, we wanted to offer some new workshops this time around. We based a couple of our workshops on some designs that you've completed for us recently, and they were really successful. That was a really good project, but a lot of work for you to come up with new stuff, new content. Yeah, and great for our folks here at the store who were able to come in and take classes with you.
That's right, and give them confidence to work on the projects.
Yeah, and we're going to follow up with a knit-along on the feather cardigan wrap as well. So Barb and I will both be making a feather cardigan wrap, right?
You can do it, Barb.
I didn't know that. How about if I do the trade blanket mittens?
That's a cop-out.
Only if you do 6 pairs.
Oh, okay. Oh, gosh.
One for every member of our family.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll have to think about that.
So yeah, Holli, you've been designing for a long time.
Yeah, about 15 years.
Really?
That's the same amount of time as our store's been open.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm the same age as my son.
Ah, interesting.
So how'd you get started in all of this, Holli? How did it happen? Well, probably your son, right?
Well, yeah, definitely he was part of it. A few years before he was born, before we even decided to have a family, I kind of had this notion I wanted to have a family and that I was going to be a knitwear designer. You know, I had heard about other knitwear designers who started when they had their newborn baby at home, and some of them even learned how to knit at that time. Well, after I had Devin, I don't know how they did it because my little guy needed to be held a lot. But I persevered. I have a fine arts degree, so I was able to lean on that as far as design knowledge and having a feel for composition and balance and all of those good things.
Did having Devin, though, inspire you, to, start out with kids wear?
Well, yes, exactly. So when I was pregnant with him, I was at a knitting retreat and somebody showed me some self-patterning sock yarn, some Regia sock yarn, and it was new then.
Right.
And I didn't know what I was looking at. I thought she was doing color work. And I'm like, oh yeah, those are nice, but I'm never going to do that. And she goes, no, you don't understand. It comes out of the ball this way. And so I started thinking, and I was thinking, well, I don't want to knit socks, but I'm going to have this baby, and a sleeve, a cardigan sleeve is kind of like the size of a sock. So this yarn will work on a cardigan sleeve. And half a front is kind of the same number of stitches as a sock. And then I leave the backs plain. I use a coordinating solid color so that, because if I use the stripes on the back, they would be half the width.
Can we show some of these?
Yeah. So
which one's that?
This is JoJo. And so you can see the sleeves and the fronts all have the stripes on them.
Right.
And there are, some of the stripes are a little wider and some are a little narrower, but the sock yarn still works.
Essentially, it's...
Yeah.
Look at,
and then the back.
Cute that
a
is.
little intarsia in there.
Yeah,
that's
and
your
then,
signature.
Well, it is,
Okay.
and that started because the first one I ever knit, I used a cream-colored yarn, and the back literally looked like a blank canvas. And I thought, well, that's no good. I need to put something on it, And so I put some intarsia on it.
Yeah.
And actually, my first design would have been this canvas.
That was the first one?
This is the first one, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, a super practical, super classic round neck cardigan that every baby needs.
Yeah.
And here's her wardrobe. And then here's
look
my...
at the back there.
Yes.
I think we've sold a fair amount of Candace patterns, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Everybody
So I think you've got when people come into the store looking for baby sweaters, we have a ton of these little samples hanging up in the store. People just come over and sometimes they come over and they say, "Are these for sale?" And we say no, but you can make one if you want to because we have the patterns for everything. Yeah, this is one with a little jacquard print in it.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
What's the name of that one?
This is Lucy.
Lucy.
And this one's done, so you've got some striping on the back on this one.
Yes, and I was able to incorporate the striping because it's done in intarsia. So the stripes are only going halfway across, and then using a different strand of yarn the other way across.
Right.
And so I don't want the stripes to look like they match up because I think that could go so wrong.
Yes.
So I actually have the knitter work from different ends of the ball.
Oh,
So the striping
neat.
sequence is
exactly opposite.
yeah.
And this one has some little intarsia bits on the front, cute little vest. Again, the back of the vest is, this one's maybe small enough that you could do the stripes.
Yeah, well, the first self-patterning sock yarns were very regular. If you're thinking of it as a sock, it would be 4 rounds of solid, 4 rounds of that jacquard, the black and white or the gray and white section, and then 4 rounds of solid, 4 rounds, and it was just very regular. But then different companies started making them, and they had all different colorways, and so they were, had thick stripes and thin stripes, like this has
How
both
did you
thick and thin on it.
Oh, I see. So this was a sock yarn that was self-patterning, but bigger stripes and
Exactly.
solids, right?
Exactly. So once the yarn companies started exploring all the different kinds of options available to them and really getting creative, then my sweaters, I could be more creative in the designs of my sweaters.
Right. So this one has a striped back, and then this little vest has a striped front with
the
a solid back
Yeah.
and the little intarsia blocks on it. This is not the same vest either.
No,
this
so this is Taylor, and it has, it's like a little waistcoat.
Yeah.
It has little V points at the front. And then this is Aiden.
Couldn't you just see Hayden in that?
Of
Cynthia,
course, yes.
Your grandson,
Yes.
he's like a little man.
He is.
Well, and
He's
especially-
a well-dressed man.
Especially if you
Yeah.
use some of the more somber sock colors.
Yeah.
I think little boys in these kind of colors are so sweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've had knitters, write to me and say, "Oh, I made this for a gift," and at the baby shower, everyone was so impressed, and with what I was able to accomplish, and he looks like a little man all dressed up in it.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
You'd want to get him a little bow tie or something, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Yes. Well, that's all the rage.
Is
yeah,
it?
Bow ties for babies, you bet. And then this one's Jeannie.
I love this one. Talk
Yeah.
to us a little bit about Jamie.
Yeah, I think this might even be one of my favorite versions of this one, just these colors. And I'm not really an orange person, but something about these colors just really work for me. So this is knit modularly. It's knit in strips. You start, let me think for a second, you start here. So you start on this strip, and it's just like, 12, 18 stitches wide, something like that,
Right.
depending on the size, it's a different number of stitches. And you work back and forth and garter stitch all the way up. And then the next strip, you start working and join it as you get...
At the same time.
as you get, So then you've got 2 strips and they're attached. And the third and the fourth. And there's a little bit of armhole shaping here that's done as you go up. Come around, there's the 5th strip, 6th, 7th, and this 8th strip, you join on both sides.
Oh my gosh.
So no
Okay, now
seaming.
we know why
No
we have
seams.
workshops.
No seams.
Yeah.
And then the shoulders are 3 needle bind off.
Okay.
Again, no seams. Pick up the stitches around the armhole, knit down.
How'd you get this ridge?
I picked up the stitches with the contrasting color yarn, did a little 1 garter stitch ridge,
Okay.
and then changed colors to the self-patterning yarn.
Yes.
It's just those little tiny details that make such a difference, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really,
Yeah.
really
Then pick up all these stitches and work down for this edging, and as I picked up the stitches and worked that first row, I wove in the ends, because there was just one end at the bottom of each strip, right?
right.
So I wove them in as I knit.
As you're knitting them. That's a real time saver too,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. So and there's, other than weaving in a few ends, there's no sewing in this.
That's really nice.
Right, beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I like also the contrast between the garter stitch in the body and the stocking stitch in the sleeves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then again, this yarn was so new, so had convinced knitters that, but it works in garter stitch too. You don't have to use just stocking stitch.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, these are some of the earlier sweaters that you did, and then you came up with some sweaters that were done in a thicker yarn.
Yeah, that's a DK weight yarn.
This one's done in Regia yarn, and this is your 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6.
That's
pattern.
right. That's right.
It's a little bit bigger because most of these sweaters I think go to 4 tall.
Yeah, some of them went to 2 because my son was a baby, so
Right.
I didn't think he'd ever get beyond 2 years old. And then I went up to 4, and I didn't go any larger than that with the self-patterning yarn because I wasn't sure if knitters would be happy knitting on such small needles with
Right.
such fine yarn. I think knitters would,
Right.
but that was 10 years ago.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, you look at people nowadays who are in this sock clubs, right? And they're knitting at least a pair of socks a month.
Yeah.
Like 12. So, I mean, this is theoretically like a couple pairs of socks,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then the yarns got better too.
Yes.
This is a more recent pattern of yours. This is grenadine, and this I think is done in Sweet Georgia.
No, this
No?
is Rain City Knits.
Oh yes, yes,
Yeah.
Rain City Knits from Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, it was a one-off colorway.
right.
But yeah, using hand-painted yarns and hand-dyed yarns is pretty special.
It's really nice. So
Yeah.
I'm working on a version of grenadine as well. I'm doing it in our Adam and Eve yarn.
Oh, nice.
So I've just got some pieces here. This is hyacinth, which is one of our colorways,
That's
and
gorgeous.
I'm mixing the balls together too. So to make sure it takes more than one skein.
Mhm.
So to make sure that the colors don't kind of pool, I'm just blending the skeins together as I go. But yeah, it makes a difference to use a merino wool as opposed to a commercial sock yarn. It just feels a bit softer.
Yeah.
And then the colors are always spectacular and always original. It's the
Mhm.
other thing I like, I could knit this and then someone else could come along and take the same colorway and do the same sweater in the same size, but it's going to look different
Yeah.
because the colors are unique to each ball.
Well, and I don't think dyers can ever get 2 skeins exactly the same.
No.
There's that human element in it
Well,
that,
that's right. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
makes them all different. So.
Yeah. And then Holly, you started doing some projects for us.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
So we
That's
came
been fun.
out with we have 4 original yarns that are exclusive to our store, and Holly's done 2 designs for us in Hat Trick, and 2 designs for us in Epic, and possibly more designs along the way. Let's talk
So-
about those ones.
What did you think, Holly? Did you think, oh my God, what are these girls doing when we had to do this yarn? Because, I mean, how crazy is this, right? It's
Yeah.
truly Canadian,
That's right.
but
That's right.
these are pretty wild colors. What did you think when you saw that?
Well, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure whether, because you had asked me to design something with this yarn, so I wasn't sure if if the design had to be hockey themed, so I was sort of researching a little bit. I must confess, I'm not a hockey fan.
That's okay.
My husband is. And then, just as I started exploring it, sort of got looser and looser. So you had asked for a hockey jersey,
Yes.
my kid's hockey
Yes.
jersey. So that's what this is. This is the sweater. And
Love the name of it too. Yeah.
And this is done in the Canada colorway. This particular
Yeah.
one is done in the Canada colorway. And it's done on a bigger needle.
yeah, so that so it wouldn't take so long to knit out.
Yes.
But it also, it provides a little more drape. And actually lately I've been knitting sock yarn on, not for socks, but for garments, I've been using like a 3.75, 4mm needle even sometimes.
Even on a sock yarn.
Yeah, I've been really liking the fabric that it makes.
Mm-hmm.
So this one's also got some modular details to it.
Yeah, so no seams in this one too. So the front and the back and the sleeves, 2 parts of the sleeves, are all knit as separate pieces. Sorry, no, the sleeves aren't. Let's go backwards. The front and the back are knit separately. Let me remember. Then you pick up stitches here and knit this half of the sleeve down, and likewise on the back. Then stitches are picked up here in the black, throw in a few garter stitch ridges, and then you join it to the back piece, kind of in a modified 3-needle bind-off, pick up and knit kind of hybrid that I developed for this. I'm sure it exists out there, but.
All right, yeah, this one's very cool.
And the side seams are joined the same way, so right all the way up under the sleeve.
Okay. So the hot shawl is another one that's done in hat trick, and this one we've got here is not the original colors. This one's done in ancient arts.
Right.
Yeah.
Just to show the versatility, the original pattern, put this up for a second, we did in Los Angeles and a red from Louette Gems. And then ever since then we've been doing it in all different kinds of the hat trick colors, but this one's done in 2 shades of ancient arts. The pattern just translates so well to using 2 colors of any fingering weight yarn. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
And I've seen it knit up all in a solid one color, and it looks lovely
Yes.
as well.
I think this is probably one of our top selling patterns in our whole line, yes.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Epic, which is a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
It's our 100% wool, what do you call it?
Peru.
Yes, it's our
hardy, rugged yarn.
yes. So tell us about the trade blanket mittens. Those are lots of fun.
Yeah, so you had asked for patterns that were inspired by Canada. Right? That was
That was a
call for-
Canadiana theme.
Canadiana theme. And your mood board had, Hudson Bay blankets, and I think there was a canoe, and
A few outdoor
Yeah,
pictures
yeah.
of cabins. And
so I started thinking about, the Hudson Bay blanket, which was a trade blanket originally, and then researching, what was made out of trade blankets, and saw that, the stripes were kind of used in a fun way, and that sort of thing. So that's in part what inspired these mittens, because some of those Hudson Bay blankets were a solid color with just one color stripe on it. And then, of course, the blankets were woven, and this stitch pattern has a woven feel to it.
yeah.
So that's where these mittens came from.
Good. And then the feather cardigan wrap is just an exquisite garment.
Thank you.
That's this one here. It's open at the front, and it's got some beautiful feather detail on the back. And the workshop that we did here at the store had everybody kind of figuring out the concept, how you knit 2 sides and join them together in the back, and then you have the sleeves, the inset sleeves. So it's a really versatile garment and wonderful in wool.
Yes.
I think it's just the right product, right, for that design. Yeah. Keeps its shape really nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our sample here in the store has been tried on over and over again, and it just holds up really nicely to wear. Okay. And then we should also talk about your project with Sweet Georgia.
Yes.
Yeah, we love Sweet Georgia yarns from Vancouver, and of course you're a Vancouver designer,
That's
so
right.
close by. So you guys put together a book called Tempest.
Tempest, that's right. Yeah. So it's a collection of 11 patterns, all women's wear, about 4 or 5 sweaters, and the rest are accessories. And it was so enjoyable working on a collection, a cohesive collection, all in one yarn dyer's yarns. So all of Felicia's colors, and she chose which colors the projects would be in.
And it's really all about color too,
It
isn't
is.
it?
It
That's
is.
her whole.
Yeah, I mean that's her
trademark.
raison d'etre. Yeah. So
How did you find designing with that much color? Because
fabulous.
yeah.
Yeah. And luckily, I didn't tell her that I'm really partial to purples, and I'm so thankful that it went there. Maybe my eyes lit up every time she would talk about purple, or say, "What about this one?" We met a few times, to hammer down all our details.
Hey, didn't you knit this one?
I started, but I
You
haven't
finished
finished
it,
it yet.
didn't you?
No, not yet. That's Stormwatch. It's a beautiful fingering weight tunic.
Yeah, knit on a larger needle.
Yeah. I moved. I started it and then I moved. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. So it's in transit or in progress. Yeah. But we have to wrap it up because we've got to let Holly go off to the airport, and so we want to say thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
We love it when
I love these weekends when I come here and teach for you guys. I think they're the highlight for me.
Oh, thank you very much, and we appreciate you too. There's something that's so special about being able to learn from the person that designed the pattern.
Mhm.
So thank you very much, Holly.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Thanks
that's
for
it.
joining us. Yeah.
Mhm.
Have a great week, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Bye now.